after a weekend party.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Jim Donovan helps us dissect yet another disappointing loss to start another new era of Browns football.
One for the party, two for the show. Hashtag cancel Netflix. The controversy over a new film about to hit the small screen and whether or not it sexualizes children.
Help is out there. How you can still get paid if you have to quarantine or take care of a child during the pandemic. And it is Make Ahead Monday. We're going to give you 2 creative meal options that your kids will devour. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Hello again, Northeast Ohio. I hope your week is off to a terrific start. Jimmy and I will go through that rough season opening loss for the Cleveland Browns. We'll do that in just a few minutes. I'm Jay Crawford. Romney Smith is in for Betsy. Romney, as always, great to see you again.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Sorry we have to touch on the Browns losing the first game, but you know what? We're going to start off with something else.
Yeah, Romney, you're starting us off with the story. We were talking about this earlier today in the newsroom about teens partying in Summit County, and now a school is getting directly involved. What's going on?
Yeah, so we all like to celebrate a birthday, right? That's normal, but it's got to be different during the pandemic. And take a listen to the warning that a school system sent out before the party happened.
Rumors are abounding of large gatherings and parties this weekend.
Well, that robocall was sent out because so many kids were talking about one particular large birthday party. Keep in mind, we're just 2 weeks into the school year, but Walsh Jesuit had to send out a warning to students about a Sweet 16 party. Well, that party happened in Summit County over the weekend, and now school leaders and health officials are trying to identify every single student in case of a COVID outbreak. In this email, Walsh Jesuit High School asks students who attended a large Sweet 16 party to learn at home for 2 weeks. Students were on deadline to self-identify to the school and warned of consequences if they didn't.
We gave them from last night just after dinner until 10 a.m. this morning. Then they will be dismissed from the school. It's that serious, and we felt that we really needed to make a statement for all of our families and support the health of all.
After seeing pictures confirming the large party, school administrators reached out to the Summit County Health Department for advice. Because of a possible COVID-19 exposure, health experts suggested tracking down all students at the party now in case contact tracing is necessary in the future.
We sort of hold our breath for 2 weeks because it's a whole lot easier now to do it and remember who's been there than it is to try to do it 2 weeks or a week from now.
Students in attendance at the party are from Walsh Jesuit and other local schools, which is why school leaders are now working with other local superintendents.
Several reached out over the weekend as word got out of this, and they've been most supportive. Some of the schools wanted to receive images. Some are just investigating and doing this as a teaching moment within their own communities.
It's too soon to know if anyone was exposed to COVID-19 at the party. However, health leaders want everyone to be aware of the potential risk.
But for the next 2 weeks, we would want to watch. Everyone who was there should really watch the symptoms. Stay away from folks, wear a mask, practice social distancing as much as you can.
Now, Jay, I searched Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for images, but was told they were all deleted on purpose. Right now, it's just a case where everyone's kind of in wait-and-see mode because it could be nothing or it could wind up being a very serious outbreak. I'm told more than 100 students have been identified so far.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult, particularly if everyone doesn't come forward. Later on, we're going to go through the day's coronavirus numbers, and the one that jumped out to me today was hospitalizations. Romney, this is a number we've seen steadily fall over the last 6 to 8 weeks. It was over 1,000 statewide. We're now in the 600s, but we had a jump of 35, and my fear is that this could be already the first wave of what could be more cases because of the Labor Day partying situation that everybody's out.
Because of Labor Day and now this party, because it's always a 2-week delay, we got to really watch Summit County to see if this party has any potential impact on those numbers.
Yeah. All right, now on to your feed at 5, and first impressions can stick around for a while. Luckily for the Browns, they won't have to wait long to try to get this taste out of their mouth. They laid another egg in a season opener. 38-6 was the final damage to the Ravens yesterday. It means the Cleveland Browns have just one win in 22 season openers since the rebirth in 1999. Wow, that stat's almost mind-boggling, Jimmy. Let's bring in the voice of the Browns now, Jimmy Donovan. And Jimmy, I've been looking for a silver lining over the last 24 hours, and I got to tell you, it's really tough to find one.
It really is. Hey, do you remember who the quarterback was for the Browns the day they won in 2004?
I'm going to say that was it Garcia?
It was. Good for you, Jeff Garcia.
That's been a while. I think it was like 2005 or something. Wow.
2004, and It was Jeff Garcia.
Man, oh, man.
It's been a lot of quarterbacks since, and I'm worried about our quarterback right now. Everybody had a tough day, top to bottom yesterday in Baltimore. I mean, I think we all knew it was going to be a tough game. The Ravens are good. They are really, really good. But I think we thought we were pretty good, too. And it's frightening to think, after watching the Browns yesterday, how far are the Browns away from being able to compete against a team like the Baltimore Ravens? Anyway, it's not pretty, but we'll show you some video from yesterday. It was a disaster in all three phases of the football game. Just counting them off, the Browns turned it over 3 times. Baker Mayfield threw a deflected interception on the team's first possession. They had 2 missed kicks, and those cost the kicker his job. Austin Seibert was cut loose today. The Browns struggled in special teams. In fact, I would have to say that in all my years, since coming here in 1985, it was the worst special teams performance I have ever seen the Browns have. Even during the dark days, the Browns always had good kicking and sometimes electric kick returners, but not yesterday. Top to bottom, they were terrible on special teams. So the defense could not stop anybody, couldn't cover anybody, and we worried about that going into the game, and that was a real worry. There's concrete evidence of that. They had some injuries, too, and now they have the Bengals on Thursday night. Kevin Stefanski doesn't have long to get the team put back together. Maybe that's a good thing.
When we play football games, you identify things that you have to do to win. And I go back to, you're playing a good football team. You're going to play really good teams almost every week here. But turning the ball over, winning that turnover margin is huge as it relates to winning and losing. Some of the penalties were just killer for us. And that's just not the type of things you can do and expect to win.
Well, he's right. He's saying all the right things. Now he's got to rectify that. Let me go over the changes today, Jay. Austin Seibert, drafted by John Dorsey in the 5th round out of the University of Oklahoma. His rookie year was last year. He's cut loose after yesterday. He was waived by the Browns today. Cody Parkey will get his return to the Browns. He was their kicker. He was brought in early in the season in 2016. David Njoku, knee injury. He had a good game up until that point yesterday. He goes on IR. Now, it's different this year. A player can return after 3 weeks being on IR. We'll see the extent of his injury. Jedrick Wills, the rookie left tackle, a leg injury. They're not saying what the situation is with him and if he'll be able to play. Coming up on Thursday, Jacob Phillips, a knee injury, the rookie linebacker out of LSU, again up in the air. We should learn more coming up tomorrow. Other than that, Jay, it was a good day.
You know what really jumps out at me, Jimmy, is this. So less than 1 calendar year ago, the Browns go to Baltimore and they win 40-25. And then they go on to win just 6 games with that football team. So in the span of 1 year, there was a 47-point swing in the favor of the Ravens. I don't see how this team gets to 6 wins this year. I really don't.
Well, and the other thing, Jay, and I tossed this out to you, and we were so excited about Odell Beckham Jr. coming to the Browns in that whopper of a trade that John Dorsey pulled off with the New York Giants. But he is yet to have a great game as a member of the Cleveland Browns.
No.
And it seems as though when he gets in a bit of a snit, when the ball isn't going his way, and I could feel that in the first half prior to him dropping that key 3rd down and 2 pass right before halftime when they were driving. And then in the second half, they forced the ball to him, almost to say, we got to get the ball to them. He's ticked off.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, Jay, it's not working right now between Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. And OBJ has become a 3 Advil headache right now for the Browns offensively.
Yeah, boy, that is very well said. And they don't have much time to get it fixed. Thursday, we'll get our first look at Joe Burrow when the Bengals come to town. Boy, that's a game they've got to find a way to win. Jimmy, thanks. We'll see you at 6.
Okay, Jay.
All right, let's show you the latest coronavirus numbers for the state of Ohio. And as per usual, the case number on Monday, we usually see a pretty big jump, and we do again. The state is reporting 1,079 new cases. That's an increase of 242 from yesterday's number, but it is still slightly below our 21-day average. Positivity rate still remains very good. It's in the 3s, which is still well below what the WHO's recommended threshold of 5% is. I mentioned those hospitalization numbers a while ago. A little troubling because that number had been falling, but it's up to 671, a plus of 35 today. Deaths for today, same number as reported yesterday. Romney?
Jay, local restaurants are the heart of our communities. They're the places we all go to celebrate an accomplishment or catch up with friends or just enjoy a good meal. But the pandemic really changed that. According to the Ohio Restaurant Association's most recent survey, 80% of restaurants say they will not break even this year. 44% said if they continue to operate at the current levels, they'll be forced to close in 9 months. Now, this is down from 50% a few months ago. So, Jay, I have to point out that it's not all bad news when it comes to restaurants. 7% say they are seeing year-to-year sales increase between 20 and 50%. And I'm going to say I'm doing my part because my scale at home has been going up a little bit, so I'm trying to help out.
Well, we can say that we're trying to do our best to keep the economy going. My guess on the increase for that 7% is there are fewer options.
Probably, yeah.
So the ones that are really good and really popular, they're seeing a rise. They operate on razor-thin margins to begin with, and I think when all this is said and done, aside from the health implications, I think purely economic now, the industries that will be most severely impacted, restaurants, travel, and hospitality.
And another thing, if anyone's going out to restaurants, please, if you get good service or good delivery, tip them because they need it.
Absolutely, they sure do. Okay, it is 10 minutes past the top of the hour right now. It is time to get a check of other stories making headlines on this Monday. And it's also our first hello to Russ Mitchell. Hi, Russ.
Hey, Jay. So you said it was Jeff Garcia, not Jerry Garcia,
yeah,
right?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I want to clear that up.
It's been a while.
It was Jeff Garcia. Doesn't that seem like 10 lives ago?
That is amazing.
It really is.
In a bad way. All right, Jay.
Right.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you at home today. Bishop Edward Malesic was installed today as the 12th bishop of the Cleveland Diocese during a special mass at St. John Cathedral.
We release you from the bond of your previous diocese, and we appoint you Bishop of Cleveland.
That's a representative from the Vatican who was on hand to read the proclamation from the Pope, making it official. Bishop Malesic was previously the Bishop of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. He has been a priest since 1987. Now he does have an Ohio connection. He studied at Pontifical College Josephine in Columbus. I will sit down with the bishop for a one-on-one interview on Wednesday.
No justice! No peace! No racist! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racist! No peace!
The president of Kent State University and Kent State Police joined students today for a unity march after weeks of controversy over racist messages left on the campus's famous rock. That rock is supposed to be a message board for students, but the school says it now may have to fence it off or add security cameras. And those along the Gulf Coast are preparing for Hurricane Sally, which is now a Category 2 storm. The National Hurricane Center says Sally will strengthen tonight before bringing a life-threatening storm surge and hurricane-force winds to the Louisiana coast. That region still recovering, of course, from Hurricane Laura. They cannot catch a break down there, Jay.
No, they can't. And Romney and I were talking earlier. They're lined up like planes into LaGuardia, Russ. In fact, tropical storms are named all the way to W.
Wow.
Which means we're going to go all the way through the alphabet and start into the Greek alphabet, is I believe how they do that, or start over one way or the other. It's a lot of storms for one season.
And the season doesn't end until what, late November? Something like
exactly.
that? Got a while to go.
Tough. Okay, Russ, thanks. We'll see you at 6 o'clock. After a quick break, parents are working from home while kids are learning from home. We're here to help you cut down on that lunchtime chaos with some make-ahead meals for everyone.
And what's new with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? We'll tell you about the changes organizers are being forced to make it COVID-19 friendly.
And Matt, what's the weather doing out there?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you got me okay? Awesome.
Welcome back. It's Make Ahead Monday. Many kids are learning from home while a lot of you are working from home right now. And of course, no one's ever hungry at the same time. Well, before Betsy went out for a few days, she chatted with Anna Day from Clean Eats in Mentor about some Make Ahead meal options for both parents and kids.
One of our kid-friendly options is our Clean Eats Nachos. So this, instead of using a big sweet potato, like served open face, or sweet potato cubes, we trick the kids by making sweet potato waffle fries. So it's like fries. So that is the face of our Clean Eats Nachos meal. And then we do our really yummy Clean Eats shredded beef on top, sprinkle of mozzarella cheese. We do have the peppers and onions on some, but a lot of the kids prefer it without the veggies. So that's up to them. But this is a nice complex carbohydrate option in there. Sweet potato fries, a lean protein, and maybe some veggies if we're lucky. This is our Clean Eats Nachos, and it's a nice, healthy, well-rounded meal for the kids.
I have a question regarding size, because if you're pre-packaging meals for kids, sometimes you either overfeed them or they don't have enough, then they're hungry. So what's your rule of thumb for serving size for kids?
Yeah, so all of our meals are 500 calories or less. One nice thing about Clean Eats is that we weigh and measure every ingredient. So from a standpoint of getting the calories in that you need to fuel your body, we kind of take care of that for you. Now, some of the growing kids, they might need more. So you might want to throw them with another snack like a fruit, a bag of, peanuts or something else that they can eat alongside their meal.
Parents probably are kind of dealing with the same thing of trying to navigate a whole bunch of different things at once. So what about adult Make Ahead meals?
Here's an example of a meal that maybe isn't as kid friendly. It's our honey mustard chicken and quinoa. So this is 5 ounces of diced chicken. It's got a honey mustard glaze, and then it's served with our quinoa kale blend and asparagus grilled. And same thing, we're talking about a well-rounded meal, complex carbohydrate, lean protein, super easy, simple, cooked and ready to go.
Another meal for adults, the Caprese salmon salad, and we have all the details and the recipe for the ones we just showed you on our website, WKYC.com. Jay, that made me kind of hungry for dinner.
Yeah, especially that last picture. Now I'm hungry. Now you're going to hear our stomachs grumble for the next 5 minutes. Hey, I don't want anybody to read into your weather word today. It's open to interpretation, but your weather word today is debacle.
Debacle. Okay.
Yeah, it may or may not have meaning.
We'll keep that with weather.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
no, I'm sure it doesn't, Jay. There's never context behind your weather words for sure. The one time when you had the weather word, you owe me money, I didn't read into that at all. So everything will be okay. I'll tell you what, Jay, it's feeling like fall outside. If you guys haven't been outside today, like some of us, parents of 3, it's much cooler outside. We've got the fall-like air. You can almost call it chilly in spots. Take a look at the current temperatures right now. Low 60s right now. Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County. It's a little bit milder as you get down towards the Akron-Canton area, back down towards Mansfield, but we've definitely changed that air mass. The big picture, I want to start here. It's a very active weather pattern right now. We had the cold front that brought the rain early yesterday. that's kind of cleared us out. And high pressure and main control of our forecast. You can see Sally down there towards the Gulf Coast. More on that in our next update. But that high pressure's overhead. You look at the satellite, you'd say, yeah, we've got sunny skies outside, but it's not sunny. You look up into the clouds, and you see a little milky white haze to that. It almost looks like streaming stratus clouds over the area. Those aren't clouds, folks. That's wildfire smoke from the fires out in Oregon and California. How about that? It's all over the Midwest right now. It's from way out west, some 2,000 miles from here, getting picked up in the jet stream. And this is going to be pretty common as we go throughout the week. So I put together for you the wildfire smoke forecast. I highlighted it green so you can see it better. You can see the biggest concentrations up in Canada and obviously where the fires are out towards the west. But this is going to be commonplace here across northeast Ohio this week. So we could have had a clear blue sky sunny week ahead. But what a debacle. We've got this little area of smoke overhead that's going to stay in the forecast. We might get a little clearing with that on Thursday as the front pushes down to the south. But as those fires continue to burn out there, smoke is going to continue to be a factor on and off throughout much of the United States over the upcoming week. In the near term, we've got a cool night ahead. We're back into the 50s and even 40s for most locations. This is Cleveland. Keep in mind we're close to the lake, so that keeps us warmer. But as you get down towards the south, your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast showing the clear skies tonight. Will have a filtered moon, of course, but look at tomorrow morning. Some of these lows, 42 waking up in Worcester. This will be our coolest night of the fall season so far. 40 out in Ashtabula. We may have a little bit of patchy frost in some of those outlying locations. Nothing to worry about, though. We'll have lots of sunshine tomorrow. That will help us warm up to near 70 degrees. Should be a delightful day, but I do think we'll have more filtered sunshine as some of that wildfire smoke continues to come over our sun. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. We warm things up to 80 on Wednesday. Our only chance of rain over the next 7 days arrives on Thursday, and it's not great. And Jay, that's going to usher in a cooler weekend with lows in the 40s and highs in the 60s. True football weather across northeast Ohio as we go into the weekend.
Yeah, I'll say you're right. At Thursday, possible showers there for the Browns Bengals. And I see 40s on the weekend. Thank you very much for that, Matt. Appreciate that. Next on What's New, John Carroll University is getting some high grades. We'll tell you how they ranked in a new U.S. News and World Report.
Then, kids tend to do everything their parents do. You've got to see this little guy's attempt at a cartwheel in our Worth the Watch.
Yes, I am. Okie dokie.
Welcome back. It's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. Our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney, has been watching what you're focusing on online. And Stephanie, I hear there's some news about John Carroll University.
There is, Romney, and we have so many great schools here in Ohio, and the new rankings out from U.S. News & World Report are showing us where they all stand. For the second year in a row, John Carroll University is ranked as the #2 university in the Midwest, and Xavier University in Cincinnati came in at #5 on that list. Now, the two highest ranking national universities in Ohio were Case Western Reserve University, which came in 42nd overall, and Ohio State not far behind at number 53. Princeton, then Harvard, topped that list. You can check out all the factors that go into that and a link to the full rankings on WKYC.com and in our WKYC app. Now, this one is for the Halloween lovers. Guess what movie is coming to the Autorama Drive-In in North Ridgeville? It is Tim Burton's super weird and super great Halloween Christmas classic, The Nightmare Before Christmas. It starts playing October 16th. Tickets aren't out yet, but you can put it on your calendar. And if you can't wait to see something spooky, the drive-in is playing a couple of thrillers this weekend, and we also have a Halloween guide up on WKYC.com/Halloween. Now, speaking of things that people can't wait for, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is on this year, but it will be reinvented for this moment in history. Now, what does that mean? New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said today it will not be live and it won't go along the usual parade route through the city. Only about a quarter of the people will be involved. And about the balloons, there will still be balloons, but not those big groups of handlers that we usually see toting them down the road. They'll be anchored down to cars instead. We will get to see it online and on TV. It'll be right here on NBC3 from 9 a.m. to noon on Thanksgiving Day. The show must go on, right? They're really making it work. Back to you, Jay.
All right, very cool. Yeah, you're right. Show must go on. Stephanie, thanks. Well, right now it is time for our Worth the Watch, and so many kids watch their parents with a Hawkeye, then they try to emulate everything they do. So when this little guy sees Dad do a cartwheel, hey, he's got to try it too. Unfortunately, he forgot to put his arms out and he turned it into a face plant.
A for effort, though.
Okay, Romney.
A for effort.
And A+ for cuteness.
Absolutely.
Dad pulls it off with the one-arm deal. He needs a little coaching, but I'm sure he's going to get it.
He'll get it.
Down the road. Very cute. Still ahead on What's New, many people are struggling between going back to work and caring for their kids who are working at home. Well, we found a provision in the CARES Act, Romney, that will help those forced to pick one over the other. Then later, Kobe Bryant's former teammate is honoring the late basketball star as well as his daughter. We're going to have details on how one of his old teammates is making sure Gianna's name lives forever.
No. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Hi, Al. Yeah. I'm well. Happy Monday to you. How are you? Good. Do you want more? Let's check in with Laura. Okay, cool. I gotcha. I'm not normal height, Al. I have heels on. Oh, let me get this call. Hello, this is Laura. Hey, thanks so much for calling me back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It most certainly is. Welcome back to What's New. I'm Jay Crawford, along with Romney Smith, who is in for Betsy. Romney, always good to be with you.
Hey, Jay. So great to be here, not just today, but Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So I'm here with you. One thing that a lot of people are talking about, Jay, is the new movie's Cutie. So the backlash started with its promotion, but it first debuted at the Sundance Festival in January and follows an 11-year-old named Amy who lives in Paris, France. Well, she rebels against her religious family to join a group of dancers. Now, while the director claims that the point of the movie is to show how society is hypersexualizing young girls, others argue that the movie actually did that to its young cast. Here's NBC's Stephanie Gosk on the growing controversy over the film.
Our girls see that the more a woman is overly sexualized on social media, the more she is successful. And the children just imitate what they see, trying to achieve the same result without understanding the meaning. And yeah, it's dangerous.
Fallout surrounding the movie began even before its Netflix debut. Last month, the streaming giant apologized and pulled this promotional poster for Cuties after it sparked outrage on social media. This was the poster used to promote the film in France. Netflix says its own choice of artwork was inappropriate. After its official U.S. premiere on the streaming service last week, the film is facing growing backlash. Some people are even canceling their subscriptions, and the hashtag #CancelNetflix is trending. The Parents Television Council is urging Netflix to remove the film, rated for mature audiences, saying young actresses were sexualized in the making of this movie. In addition to being coached and trained in highly sexualized dance routines, these girls use foul, vulgar language. None of this was necessary to critique the sexualization of children. The movie has also sparked bipartisan backlash from lawmakers, including Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard and Republican Senator Ted Cruz. Cruz wants the Justice Department to launch a formal investigation into whether Netflix or the individuals involved in the filming and production of Cuties violated any federal laws against the production and distribution of child pornography. Critics online also calling on the Obamas and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, high-profile Netflix-producing partners, to speak out against the film. Netflix is pushing back, telling its critics to watch the movie before attacking it, calling it a social commentary against the sexualization of young children and a powerful story about the pressure young girls face on social media and from society more generally growing up. And its director insists many are missing the point.
The real question of Cuties is, can we as women truly choose who we want to be beyond the role models that are imposed upon us by society?
Now, the Department of Justice has not commented, but Netflix says no underage nudity was used in the film. But keep in mind, I think a lot of people, Jay, are nervous that this actually might be a reflection of real life, right? Because they said, oh, well, the girls are cursing. I'm sorry to tell you, girls curse when they're underage. It happens. A lot of kids do. And a lot of kids are cheerleaders. I was an all-star cheerleader, so sometimes the uniform comes with that, but that doesn't mean they're literally pimping them out. So I think there was some misunderstanding in the promotion of the film and the actual film. I actually do want to see it.
Yeah, I probably won't, and therefore I'm not going to pass judgment, because without having seen it, I think it would be irresponsible for me to say one way or another. What I can respond to is the criticism of it. It seems to be coming in pretty fast from all sides.
Yeah.
And I think we as a society, oftentimes entertainment and media is a representation of society.
That's right.
And maybe it is a mirror and a reflection of where we are as a society. If it is, perhaps it should be a wake-up call that we just simply cannot sexualize young girls in any way, shape, or form.
But many need to actually see it before they criticize.
I agree.
Because sometimes they're just looking at the preview
That
and
I agree
commenting
with.
on the whole movie.
Yeah,
so.
and I can't criticize the movie because, as I said, I haven't seen
I'll
it.
let you know. I'll let you know.
All right, it is 4 minutes past the bottom of the hour right now. Time to check in on other stories making headlines right now. And for that, we throw it to the newsroom and say hello to Laura Queso. Hi, Laura.
And I say hello to you, Jay. Happy Monday to you. Let's get to it. Authorities say they've captured a man wanted for rape after he spent 40 years on the run. Julio Rentas was taken into custody in Puerto Rico last week. He's accused of sneaking into a 14-year-old Cleveland girl's bedroom and attacking her. This was back in 1981. He never showed up for his court hearing. The cold case unit of the U.S. Marshal Service says he's been hiding in Puerto Rico for nearly 20 years. A $100,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to the arrest of the person who shot 2 Los Angeles sheriff's deputies as they sat in their patrol car. Both are now in critical condition. One is a 24-year-old male officer who was shot multiple times. The second, a 31-year-old mother who was shot in the face. Both have been on the job for just 14 months. In other news, Amazon is hiring 100,000 workers, all to keep up with the surge in online shopping. The company says it has to fill both full and part-time jobs, and 2,400 of those positions will be right here in Cleveland, with another 1,500 in Akron. The new hires will sort, pack, and ship orders. And these are not holiday hires either. The jobs are permanent. Starting salary, $15 an hour, with a $500 signing bonus. And you know, this is trending online. It's a big deal. Obviously, Amazon hiring. Good news there, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, they're fast turning into one of the country's largest employers. Laura, thank you very much. We will see you in 24 minutes with What Matters Most at 6 o'clock.
Sure.
Well, I'm not sure many Browns fans actually expected Cleveland to go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens in yesterday's season opener, but not many thought they would go in and look so unprepared in the 38-6 defeat. A few quick updates. The kicker, Austin Seibert, 0 for 2 yesterday. A 5th-round draft pick just a year ago, cut from the team today. One-time Brown kicker Cody Parkey is back on the squad. Also, tight end David Njoku tweaked his knee. He's going to be unavailable for the next couple of weeks. Disappointed fans expressing their thoughts on social media. Our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney, has been following it all. Stephanie, what are they saying?
Well, of course, Jay, there was lots of Monday morning quarterbacking going on, but let's focus on how the Browns made people feel, because that's what we remember, right? Not what people do, how they make us feel. Let's start with some signature Browns optimism to get us started here. John Schultz said there were things that looked good to focus on, like our running back, Nick Chubb. And he said, like so many others, this is our first game with no preseason, so maybe let's just look for improvement from week to week. Not a bad thought there. Others, however, were not as forgiving, like Max Powers, who said the more things change, the more they stay the same, and called this just a typical year for the Browns. Of course, Jimmy Donovan's take on it was that the Browns can't get much worse, but Nicholas Razumny disagrees. He replied to that article with this: "Can't get much worse? That's a challenge the Browns will take." And after that failed fake punk attempt by the Scottish Hammer, Jim D just posted this, an orange helmet with a clown where the Browns logo would be. Ouch. But before the game started, hopes were high. Our Sarah Shookman posted this photo of baby Isla and wrote, "The smile of a fan who's never seen the Browns lose." Now, of course, that didn't last long, but I have to think she's a girl after my own heart. She's got some cautious optimism there, Jay, or at least she's still smiling.
Well, look, Sarah, thank you, because that is the exact image I needed to see. Isla smiling beautifully for me to forget about that dreadful football game yesterday afternoon. All right, Stephanie, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You can go to WKYC.com right now. Check out my column, My Thoughts on the Browns. I'll sum it up for you in the nutshell. One of those tweets said it too. The more things change, the more things stay the same. I'll be writing a post-game column on the Cleveland Browns after each game this season.
Coming up, returning to work during the pandemic can be a tricky task for some people, especially those with kids that are learning at home. We'll tell you about a provision in the CARES Act aimed at helping parents.
And Matt, what's going on outside?
Hi, Jay. We talked about the wildfire smoke earlier. What we'll talk about in this forecast are some of the cold temperatures over the next couple days. We could see some 30s on the map tomorrow morning. We'll let you know where coming up in that forecast. Okay. And then back to her as well. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Welcome back. We're going to talk about weather right now. And in the break, Matt, you said 30s. I thought we were heading into fall. That sounds like winter weather to me.
I'll tell you what, Romney, I think your weather days are over. With that thick heat and the 90-degree temperatures, I think we can kiss those goodbye.
Okay.
I know, pumpkin spice lattes from here on out, so sorry about that. We'll get you and Jason a gift card so you can get started on that. But yeah, we've got some cool nights ahead. Tonight's going to be one of those. We've got another set of cool air coming in this weekend, as you'll see. I think that one's going to be the batch that people are really like, yeah, it's close to fall around here. We're about 8 days away, so this is kind of part and parcel for what you'd expect this time of year. But temperatures now, we're in the 60s. In fact, low 60s. We're going to drop into the 50s here over the next couple hours out towards the east. Meanwhile, down towards the south, as you'd expect, it's a little bit warmer. We've got a nice north breeze that's bringing in not just cooler air, but drier air as well. Our dew points were in the 60s about 24 hours ago. We're down to the 40s now. This is air you can barely even feel. But look, just down to our south, we've got tropical air, and that is all associated with, well, what you'd expect, Hurricane Sally down towards the Gulf Coast. But the frontal boundary that went by yesterday is what's dividing these two air masses, and it's not going to budge a whole lot. We're not going to get any of that tropical air anytime soon. We're going to stay in this cooler and drier air mass over the course of the week as high pressure takes shape. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that wildfire smoke from out west making its journey 2,000 miles across the areas of the Midwest and Great Lakes. That's what you see when you look up. That is all wildfire smoke, folks, around 13 to 16,000 feet up in the atmosphere. There are no clouds over us outside of that. And Jay mentioned earlier how busy the tropical Atlantic is. This is peak of the hurricane season, so this is kind of expected as well. But look at all the systems out there. The only one that's expected to impact the U.S. is Sally, and you can see already starting to feel its influence across areas of the Florida Panhandle. The problem with Sally, this thing has strengthened very rapidly over the last 24 hours as expected. Winds now at 100 miles per hour. It's expected to increase to about 110 mile per hour sustained winds. That would make it a strong Category 2 hurricane at landfall. But the problem, as I mentioned, is this is a slow mover. Whenever you get slow-moving tropical systems, they drop rainfall efficiently. So we're talking 10 to 15 inches of rain across portions that just got battered by Laura a couple weeks ago. But as I mentioned, Hurricane Sally not going to affect us at all here in Northeast Ohio. What will affect us are the cooler temperatures. Your National Design Martin hour-by-hour forecast tomorrow morning. There you go. I mentioned 30s. Ashtabula County, even portions of inland Geauga County. You may see some upper 30s tomorrow morning. Perhaps some light frost, nothing that's going to impact the plants. By midday, we're up into the 60s, and a nice afternoon with more filtered sunshine. We ought to hit near 70 degrees or so. Beyond that, yeah, we've got to return to the 40s tomorrow morning. It's been 105 days since we were in the 40s. June 1st was the last morning waking up. I've got us at 49 at Hopkins. We'll see if we don't hit it there. Your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, I have us hitting it Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning next week. After a slight chance of rain on Thursday, we're dealing with sunny skies for the majority of the next 7 to 10 days. So we could still work on that suntan this time of year, but boy, I think those warm pool days are over, Romney.
Well, I'm breaking out my winter coat. Thanks, Matt.
It is Money Monday, and you likely don't know this, but there is a much-needed boost for people forced to quit work and stay home with children or loved one for COVID-related reasons. As consumer investigator Danielle Serino reports, many are entitled to get paid from their jobs.
It would have been chaotic.
That's what life would have been like for this school aide who works close to 8 hours a day and is also caring for 2 young kids who are learning remotely because of COVID.
I would be working in the morning, coming home at 9:30, making sure they're all set up, going back to work at 11:30, coming home at 2, making sure they're on track, and then going back to work. And just physically, I just wasn't able to do it.
And the cost of childcare was just not doable. But thanks to a little-known provision in the CARES Act, many parents caring for a minor whose school or child care provider is closed or unavailable because of COVID are entitled to 12 weeks off at 2/3 their normal pay. You can also get 2 weeks at full pay if you're quarantined yourself or taking care of someone who is.
And it was a way to make sure that working people were not forced to choose between their health and taking care of a family member and then their paychecks.
The Labor Department has done little to advertise this, but Bob Suter, co-owner of Wolf's Ridge Brewing, made sure his employees knew.
It's a step right now in the right direction of saying, hey, don't worry about this. We'll make sure you're taken care of.
In fact, he's offered paid leave before the provision and says expanding it is worth it as it keeps employees healthy and leads to low turnover.
That it puts the burden on smaller companies to do this, though, it's offset by a credit for, employers' taxes. From a business perspective, I think that this, it's hugely helpful, like I said, especially in a time like this when you need them to kind of step up and do different things.
And it's a game changer for those who couldn't otherwise afford to stay home, but have no choice but to quit.
I would have to work like an opposite shift than my husband. We can't afford child.
Now, the act only covers employees who work for companies with more than 50 employees or fewer than 500. It also excludes most first responders and healthcare workers, which is why some advocacy groups say it doesn't go far enough. But I have more information on the act on our website, WKYC.com. I'm Danielle Serino, 3 News.
All right, Danielle, thank you very much. Still ahead, what Kobe Bryant's former teammate, Pau Gasol, and his wife did to honor Kobe and his daughter, Gianna.
Then we're going to show you something good. It wasn't the wedding this local couple planned, but they got a really cool surprise. We'll tell you all about it. And it's time for our pop quiz. Ohio's maritime ports and river terminals handle more than 103 million tons of commodities each year. So my question is, what's the total value? Is it A, $11 billion worth of cargo, B, $13 billion worth, or C, $15 billion worth? Whew, that's a lot. The answer when we come back. All right, before the break, we asked what's the total value of commodities that make their way through the Ohio ports and river terminals? The answer, A, $11 billion worth of cargo. That's a lot. Well, Kobe Bryant's former teammate, Pau Gasol, paid tribute to his friend and his daughter in a really big way. Plus, I think it's pretty safe to say the feud between T Swift and Katy Perry is really over now. I explain in the pop break.
Demi Lovato is calling out what she says are fake resurfaced tweets from her fiance's Twitter account. The tweets allegedly show Max Eric's massive crush on Demi's ex-BFF, Selena Gomez. The tweets even throw shade, calling Demi less attractive than Selena. Many say the tweets are in fact real, but Demi is saying otherwise. In her Instagram story, she fights back, saying the images are doctored and that people need to find something better to do than pit two women against each other. In other celebrity news, Taylor Swift and Katy Perry could not be better friends right now after their years of fighting. Taylor recently sent Katy's newborn daughter, Daisy, a hand-embroidered blanket to celebrate her birth. Katy thanked the folklore singer on Instagram for her thoughtful gift, saying, quote, "I hope it's one she drags around for years till it becomes an unrecognizable shred that she keeps in her pocket as a teenager." We agree. And NBA player Pau Gasol is moving the internet to tears today after he and wife Kat welcomed their first daughter over the weekend. The couple named their newborn daughter Elizabeth Gianna Gasol, honoring his late friend Kobe Bryant and Kobe's daughter Gianna, who passed away in a helicopter accident in January. The Bryant family is incredibly close to Pau and Kat, so in addition to remembering their lost family members through their daughter's name, they've also named Kobe's wife, Vanessa, as Elizabeth's godmother. That's a beautiful tribute.
You know, Jay, how sweet is that to say not only do we love your family so much and we miss them, that we're going to name our daughter's middle name after Gianna.
Yeah, think about it, Romney. One of the biggest tributes that you can ever give is to name one of your children after someone. And it was just an incredible gesture by Pau and his wife.
And Vanessa is the godmother? I mean,
I know. It's just, it's really cool. And it's a special tribute from, by all accounts, a wonderful person, Pau Gasol.
Truly, they're linked forever now.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, we asked and you have delivered. Our Show Us Something Good is coming up next. How friends and family made a couple's wedding night very special after COVID changed their plans. It's a great story.
Then on What Matters Most at 6, you've seen videos of packed bars. Well, we did some digging into who's really supposed to enforce social distancing guidelines.
Yeah, I do. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brandon's microphone. This is what it sounds like to be Brandon in the basement. Just checking to make sure it sounds good.
Hi, Al. Yes, I do. Testing 1, 2. Good evening. I'm Laura Queso, and I'm Russ Mitchell. Thank you.
And I'm Russ Mitchell. Crowds, no social distancing taking place once again in Geneva on the Lake. Thank you.
right, let's wrap it up with our Show Us Something Good. And this came to us from Kathy Janowich. Her niece, Laura, just got married this weekend. Aww. And while COVID obviously impacted the wedding she had planned, it was one the Parma couple won't soon forget. Here's why. Friends and family surprised Laura and Joe, look at this, with a candlelight circle in the middle of their cul-de-sac. Now, why is that so important that it was in the middle of their cul-de-sac? Well, the couple have been high school sweethearts. They met 14 years ago, and right there in that cul-de-sac is where they shared their first dance together 14 years ago. I have goosebumps right now.
That's so sweet.
I have goosebumps.
I'm a sucker for good love stories, so I love that.
I'm with you. They made us smile. Thank you so much.
Remember to keep forever, indeed. Congrats to them.
Congrats indeed, and good luck. Thanks for